Yes guys, what's happening? It is finally time for an update on the twin turbo Mark 4 Golf R32. Now the last time we filmed any footage on this car was roughly around 8 months ago, maybe even 9 months ago now. And I never actually posted the last bit of footage I filmed on this car, for whatever reason it may be. So the first 10 maybe 10 minutes of this video is actually going to be footage from around 8 months ago, and then we're going to move over into the new footage and talk a little bit about what's going on and show you what's going on as well. So yeah, sit tight. Let's get straight into it. Listen, in fact, before we get into that, let me just show you this Nissan GTR behind me. This is a Nissan GTR R33 Skyline that you can win. You can win it, yeah, 49p. If you're in the UK, go and buy some tickets right now. levelupgiveaways.co.uk. Absolutely insane spec. Check out the spec on the website and you could be yours. It literally could be yours for 49p. Also, we've got that big competition where you can win this Audi R8 plus £1,000. This is a twin turbo Audi R8 with 1,000 brake horsepower. And if you don't want that car, you can take this car instead, which is an Audi TT RS, £10,000 worth of carbon fibre and body kit on that. Absolutely, again, insane. You get 25 grand with that. So if you don't want the R8, you can take the TT plus 25 grand. And if you don't want either of those, you're thinking, yeah, not interested in none of those cars, I'll give you 75 grand instead. 99p to enter. Head over to the website, check them cars out, and let's get back into the video. What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another video on the twin turbo R32. So in the last video, we got the car back from fabrication. Finally, we had the fuel tank fitted and a few other bits. I managed to get the dash lighting up, the buttons lighting up, ECU working, but we didn't get that start up because there's still loads to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going through a little bit of a tick list today, and hopefully I'm going to get this thing fired up. So I think what I'm going to do first of all is take out the old fuel tank. Now that might sound easy, but this is a four-wheel drive car and the exhaust and the prop sit under the fuel tank. The reason I want to take this out is because it's no longer needed. Obviously we've got this fuel cell, fuel pump set up now as well. So all that's irrelevant, and it's extra weight. You know, we're going to be saving some weight taking it out. So I think I'm going to jack the car up and see what I can do. I'm hoping I don't have to pull the prop out. Worst case scenario, I might even just cut the thing out because I don't need it anymore. Yeah, let's get the car jacked up, have a little look underneath and see how easy it is to take out. Right, we've got the car jacked up. I've had a sneak peek underneath. Let me show you what I think. So that section of the exhaust has already been taken out from the turbo to the back box. So looks like we've got these two straps holding it in, and then yeah, we've just got the prop in the way, and I think I can get away with just pulling the prop down. There's just 3 bolts holding that prop in to the diff, and then I think there's something, yeah, there's a bit of a bracket there above that exhaust. So I reckon I'll probably have enough room to get the tank out doing that, but to be honest, there's only one way to find out really. There's got this metal heat shield on it and something there as well, but I think I'm just gonna have a go at it and see how I get on really, because right about now it's just a guessing game. I do know that I'm gonna have to take this wheel off because the fill neck, or whatever you want to call it, runs up this side to there, so I'm gonna have to undo all of that, and yeah, let's just see how we get on anyway. Well, this is taking a bit longer than I thought it would. What I've had to do in the end is take the dog mount off the bottom, pull the engine forward a little bit so I could get a bit of leverage underneath the car. But I have got the prop off now. I did end up having to take more of the exhaust off, but I reckon I should be able to get the petrol tank pretty much out now. Now, I'm not actually sure what happened to the audio here, and since this was filmed about 8 months ago, I can't remember what was going on, but I'm going to try and remember. So I think I've basically found out that you can't just remove the fuel tank by doing what I've done so far. And here I am probably showing you why you can't do that. Obviously the filler net goes over the rear axle and this, that and the other. And we all know what's about to happen next. Well, I know what's about to happen next because I actually posted it on my Instagram while I was doing it. But I've decided at this moment in time that I'm literally just going to try and cut it out. Which, yeah, turns out to be fun, so keep watching. Here I'm also talking about needing to drain the fuel tank before cutting it because there's quite a bit of fuel in there. So, yeah, stay tuned because it gets quite interesting. Well, I'm glad I did that because it turned out to be about, I don't even know, there's a good 12 litres in there. So win-win, every penny counts when you're doing a build like this. So I've just noticed something on the other side and there's a bolt here, and I'm assuming, because I thought I was gonna have to cut through this side as well, but I'm assuming if I undo that bolt, it should just fall forward now. I hope so, because I really don't have to do that all again. But yeah, let's get that bolt undone and we will see. So yeah, as you can see there was still quite a lot of fuel left in the tank and it has gone absolutely everywhere. So yeah, very frustrating, but at least we got most of the fuel tank out. While it's out at least, be it in about 5 different pieces. The funny thing is that I am actually still going to need to drop the rear subframe to get that other bit out that's behind it. As you can see, just that little bit left there, and it must run the whole of the other side. So yeah, after all that, I'm still gonna have to drop the subframe at some point, but for now it's staying put, because for me removing the rear subframe isn't as easy as it should be. I'll have to remove all of this and loads of other bits as well. But anyway, yeah, it's out. Fuel everywhere. I'm feeling a little bit woozy, I won't lie. Need to go and open all the doors up. But yeah, it's out. 90% of it's out. Right, so it is now the next day. I had to go home yesterday. The fumes got the better of me with all that petrol on the floor. But yeah, anyway, and I had time to think about what I actually did. And what I mean by that is cutting up the fuel tank was very, 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 very dangerous. I have thought about it, I do recognise it, so before anyone jumps in the comments and says anything, I am well aware that it was a stupid thing to do. And on top of that, I didn't even accomplish what I needed to do because I still have to drop the rear subframe to take out the last bit of the fuel tank that was left. So yeah, it was a stupid thing to do. Anyway, it's the next day. Let's crack on. I've now put it all back together, pretty much. The fuel lines that I had fitted previously, I've been able to run them up through there. Unfortunately, it does come just a bit too short of fitting there. So I'm trying to look for some AM fittings in the unit to see if I can just add a little bit more line on it to get it to here, just so I can get it started within this video. If not, I'm gonna have to order some parts, and it is currently Wednesday. I'm not too sure if they're gonna get here in time by Sunday, but we will see. What else I'm gonna do? So I've jacked it up. The reason I've jacked it up because I am gonna be changing this engine mount. I don't know if you remember, but this is the incorrect engine mount for the Quaife box. It's got a special type of mount that I don't even think comes on any of the VW platforms. I did speak to Quaife at Goodwood, and they did say they've actually corrected that, so you can use the same mounts now. So anyway, I'm going to change that over. I need to change over this again. I don't know if you saw in the last video, but I used to have a smaller one. I changed it to this one, but it's too big. Long story short, it's too big. Obviously that line goes down to there. This boost pipe's in the way. So I have actually got a brand new, I think it's a Turbo Smart, which is a lot smaller. So I'm going to be refitting that one. That was what was on there before. But anyway, yeah, so they're the two jobs I'm going to be cracking on with today. Hopefully, like I said, I can sort something out with the fuel line to the fuel pump in the boot and do a bit more wiring. Not too much now, to be fair. In order to get it started, obviously not to be finished, but there isn't really too much that needs doing in order to give it a first start, I don't think. So I'm going to crack on with those. I am going to, or have started to, I'm going to move the battery as well. It was just dangling here because I could only find a little bit of small earth wire, but I found this, which I can use, and I'm waiting for my crimp tool so I can crimp some thicker earth wire and stuff together. So yeah, I'm pretty much just rambling on. I'm just going to crack on with what I've got to do, and hopefully get you guys a first start up, get me a first start up with this sequential. It isn't a first start of the twin turbo altogether, it's a first start of the twin turbo with the sequential. But it might be a first start for you guys because I haven't really documented this running too much on YouTube, I don't think, or at all. Who knows? Anyway, like I said, I'm just talking. I'm just going to crack on now. So yeah, that was all filmed around 8 months ago, and as you can see by the bags, I still haven't had a good night's sleep. But yeah, I can't believe how ambitious I was being in that video in regards to getting the car started. It's still quite far away from being started, but at the same time, it's still very close to being started. It's closer than it's been for a while. But yeah, I haven't touched the car at all up until the last few days ago. So for the last 8 months, it's pretty much just sat here, gathering dust and looking like a bit of an ornament in the unit. But as I said in my last video, where we went across all the projects and we spoke about them, I'm going to be trying to spend an hour a day messing about with these projects and trying to get them a little bit further along. So I have actually been doing that, and one of the big things that I've been doing with this car, one of the important things I've been doing with this car is speaking with a company and having the ECU, the PMU and the dash, all that ECU master stuff that you've seen in there, communicating with one another. That's something that I was messing around with in a previous video, but yeah, it's just too complicated for me, and I'll just show you quickly because I know this video has gone on for quite a while and I still want to try and do a little bit of work on the car in these videos, but let me just talk you through this quickly and explain and show you why it's so complicated. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to keep it as short and sweet. So here we've got an ECU Master ADU. So this is a dash basically. It displays your speed and all of that good stuff. here we've got the ECU master keyboard, we've got the PMU, and we've got the ECU. So let me just explain what most of these things do. So the PMU is basically a replacement for your fuses and relays. Now, if we go over to the blue Golf, and if you've been watching the videos, you'll know exactly what I'm on about when I was wiring this car up. So instead of having like all these relays, so these are for the fuel, and then you're going to need another relay for other stuff like your ECU and whatever it may be. So instead of having like, oh, there we go, there's the little fuse board that I made just so we could get it started, and then there's the buttons that we're using, so they're analog buttons. And yeah, so instead of having all that, I've literally got this PMU, it's called, and it replaces all of that. And basically with your laptop, you can configure that to do a lot. So that, like I said, is a replacement for your relays and fuses. So that will send power to the fuel pump, for example. It will send the correct power. Not only that, but it will act as a fuse and a relay as well. So if you get a high voltage or a voltage drop, it will trip out. It's really good. Go look into them because I'm explaining them really bad, and there's a lot of things that they do. The keyboard. So this is a CAN bus keyboard, and what I mean by that is it runs on CAN wires, 2 wires. So look how many buttons are here. I think there's 12, and only 2 wires control all of that. And that is the purpose of CAN. Now, I'm not 100% clued up on CAN, but basically these 2 little wires send messages to wherever you want them to. So for example, this communicates with the PMU. The PMU communicates with the ECU and the dash. So all talks to each other over CAN. And I can, or whoever's helping me configure it, can configure this keyboard to do 12 different things through these 2 wires, which I think is pretty impressive. So yeah, it saves a lot of wiring as well. So yeah, the company that I've been using, shout out to them, they have been helping me configure it all and writing me some software or a program, or basically just writing stuff for me so that I can upload it to the PMU. PMU will talk to the keypad, and then when I turn it on, I'll have like my start, stop, indicators, all that stuff. And that is a key part of getting the car started, because I was trying to learn that all by myself. And while I was actually getting into it and understanding it a little bit, it was just easier to pay somebody else to help me. So that's what I've been doing over the last few days, and I've been uploading the files, checking things work. And now it's just a case of, I say just a case, it's a case of wiring everything up. So I need to wire everything up to that PMU. So I need to wire up the fuel pumps, basically anything that needs wiring up to it. It even does the starter motor as well. So it sends a signal to the starter motor to get it to start. It powers up the injectors, it powers up the coil packs, it powers up, it controls the fans. That bit of kit is amazing. It's well worth the money. It's not cheap, but it's really worth the money. So yeah, that is a big tick, a big thing ticked off with the twin turbo, because it is pretty much now just down to me to get through all the nitty gritty bits. And what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to move the twin turbo, we're going to push it, and we're going to move it over to where the green R32 is, and I'll show you why. So yeah, we're going to be moving the green R32. We're going to clear all this space up here, which is just full of junk at the moment that I need to sell really, or get rid of, or whatever, I don't know. So we're going to use that space to work on the twin turbo, because as you saw, when I was trying to take off the fuel tank, I still need to remove a lot of it, which means jacking it up, getting underneath it, and obviously trying to do that in this small space is just going to be a headache. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now, and then we'll take it from there. Right, that's the car swap round. It is time to drop the rest of this fuel tank. I can't believe the whole video has been me basically removing a fuel tank. But yeah, let's crack on with that. And there we have it. The whole thing is off. So there's the bit that I removed about 7 or 8 months ago. And here's the other piece that we've removed today. You can actually see the little marks where, well, little big marks where I was trying to cut it. And yeah, I had no idea it went over the rear axle like that, but it's all off now. To be fair, it wasn't even that bad really. I think at the time I was just drained by this project. But yeah, it's all off now. If you're wondering why I took the anti-roll bar off, it's because I'm going to be fitting this one. So they're both H&R, but this one's blue, and I've already got a blue front anti-roll bar, and it was annoying me that the rear one was black. So I've waited about, give or take, a year to do this. So yeah, anyway, let's crack on with the rest of the car. It is now the next day, and as you can see, I've got the rear axle on and the wheels back on and all that good stuff. I haven't put the rear diffuser on purpose because it gets in the way when you're working on the car. So if you're under the car and you move your head or get up too quickly, it hurts basically. So I've left the rear diffuser off. Now, I came down here today with the intentions of tidying up, which I actually did. I know it's a mess, but I'll explain why in a second. Tidying up and getting the fuel lines done on this, so I could put some fuel in it and test the setup basically, get it wired up, get it plumbed up, and then test it. That hasn't gone to plan. Basically, I am missing one fitting. One fitting is stopping me from doing this. So I had this little big fuel tank, fuel cell fitted, and I redid the fuel lines, but I redid the fuel lines for a different fuel tank, and then I had this fitted. So the old lines are a little bit too short. This isn't the way they're going to be going anyway. Basically, you're going to run under the car, and then they're going to have bulkhead fittings fitted to them, and then it's going to come up and then come up to the fuel pumps, fuel tank, whatever you want to call it, fuel cell. Because it's too short, I luckily found these sections of line that I was literally just going to attach to that and then attach the fuel line using some fittings. Now, I do remember ordering a load of fittings when I was working on the car last time, and I thought I'd ordered enough and more than enough, and it turns out I haven't. So basically I am missing, where are you? One of these fittings here, and as you can see, it looks like I've had it on there before and then taken it off. So I'm assuming that I've taken it off and maybe used it on the big turbo build, and not replaced it. So that's very frustrating. I was buzzing because I came down and I found these bits of line in one of my boxes of rubbish. Like, I've got tons of these boxes that are just full of stuff. Even all the shelves are full of them as well. And I found these bits of line. I thought, buzzing. I don't have to do any cutting. I can literally just, I changed these fittings so that it would work with it. Put those on, put a 90-degree fitting on it, put that on, and it literally is more than enough to get the fuel through it. And yeah, that one fitting is messing everything up. And check this, look at all these fittings that I've got. Look at this, fittings everywhere, and I'm missing the correct fitting for that. So yeah, very frustrated. Yeah, so it's currently Friday as well, so if I ordered one today, I wouldn't even get it because it's like 4:30 p.m, so it's the last of the postage and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm just going to wire it up mess about. Actually, let me show you. So the plan is to just crack on with the rest of the car and get it ready for that first startup. It's not that far off. There's a few bits that I need to do. There's a pulley here that I nicked, and this car just ended up being a parts car. So yeah, I took the pulley off here and used it on another car, so I need to replace that. I need to do the vacuum lines to the blow-off valve to the fuel pressure regulator, and then I need another one that goes into the car for the ECU. And yeah, just little bits and bobs. Now I'm not too worried about the wiring. Obviously I do need to finish the wiring and make sure it's wired up, but in terms of like tidying it up and stuff, there's not really any point because it is going to be getting sent off to have like a full harness done. I did tidy up inside a little bit, but I've pulled it all back out to mess about with it again. So yeah, I'm going to try and tidy that back up again, run some wires from the PMU to the fuel tank, wire up whatever else needs wiring up, and then yeah, in the next video hopefully we will get a first startup. So yeah, I'm going to end the video there. I know it's gone on for a little while. I was really hoping in fact to get a first startup in this video. Unfortunately, as you can see, I've not been able to, but if you've enjoyed the video, hit subscribe, make sure you give it a like, and in the next video you know what, I'm not even going to post about this twin turbo until it starts. So in the next video we're going to be trying to start this. We're going to be starting this, not trying, we're going to start this. But yeah, until the next video guys, see you later.